Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, I want to do something a little bit different this episode. What I want to do is really just share with you some tools, some techniques that I personally use to keep my mindset strong, to keep my emotions in a good place, so that I can go ahead and lead my family, my team, my clients, do good works, and to really add value wherever I can during these challenging times. So they're in no particular order. These are just things that I've done over the past 26 years being a coach. I also share these with my clients. And my goal here is to help you find one or two nuggets that you can go ahead and deploy immediately. So let's just kind of state, the reality, right? Number one is that all of us are burning a big mental and emotional candle at both ends, right? Dealing with family, dealing with the stress of uncertainty, dealing with keeping clients in the game, the wave of not so great news that comes down on us. And it's really easy to give yourself permission to mentally capitulate. If you do that, it is a long road back. And so my advice is number one, don't. Number two, if you feel it coming on, then you need to take a pivot, and I'll explain what that means in a little bit. What do I mean by mental and emotional capitulation? That you just want to give up. You want to go crawl in a hole somewhere. You want to shut it all down. You just and you start wishing for the good old days. Oh man, I just wish it was last year or January, whatever. Like you want to go back in time to a happier, a better place. And if you're using that as contrast, right? First off, the good old days are gone. That's in the memory banks. And what you need to start thinking about is what's the new normal going to look like. But that we'll save that for another episode. So if you're kind of in that spot, right? Chances are you've been putting a lot of things out, talking to clients, talking to your family, talking to your teams, friends, whatever, and you're just kind of every which way, and you're kind of like, burning the battery out. So in the past, what I would tell somebody to do is, okay, you're burnt out, don't know it. I would say, hey, go on vacation, go jump on an airplane. Obviously, those things are available to us. So what I'm going to recommend you do is what I call a 48-hour hiatus. I want you to take 2 days, and I want you to basically shut it down. A lot of you are working from home, so if you have a home office, don't go in it. I've got this beautiful home office I've worked from home for over 2 decades, and when I go on hiatus, if I'm not traveling, I don't spend any time up here. I'm not in this room. I'm outside. I'm in my living room. I'm in the kitchen cooking. I'm doing anything but in this environment because I want to get away from this environment, even though it's very supportive of me. We really can't go get a change of scenery right now, so go create one. If you're in an area that you can get outside, go outside. Take a walk, take daily walks, meditate, do those things, right? What you don't want to do is try to push through because there's no end sight, right? It's not like you may be able to kick the can down the road for a couple days, but eventually you're going to capitulate. And then, like I said, it's a very hard road to come back from. So give yourself permission to take, again, I'm not telling you to take a week, but take 48 hours. Now, in our game here, we talk about having tactical days, strategic days, and renewal days, right? There's 3 types of days in our Magellan game, right? Tactical days, what you all know, which is basically kind of working in the business, dealing with clients, reviews, service issues, growing your business, things like that. Strategic are working on the business, right? Business plans, systems, strategies, marketing techniques, segmentation, service levels, all that jazz. And then renewal time is getting away from it all, right? So we call it in, on, and gone, right? In the business, on the business, and gone from the business, right? So what I'm going to say to you is if you're feeling like you need a day, like you've just been, battling this thing for a couple days, or for a couple weeks, take 2 days, right? Even if you want to make it the weekend and you need to just unplug. So no news, no nothing, surround yourself with good things. Very, very important, okay? So give yourself permission to do that. It will make a big difference. Next. All of us are now. There's what we call framing. So framing is how you look at something, your point of view, right? I was talking to one of my clients the other day. It's a family business, it's a father, son, sister, mom. It's really a family practice. And I was talking to the son, and he was mentioning how his dad and how basically he's been like like sideways, right? Really negative, really kind of, dark, if you will. And because he's almost like a quasi prepper, right? And so, the problem is that if you put yourself in that frame, so you see yourself in that situation, your body and your mind experience it, right? So, like, if you're thinking about, oh my God, what does this mean? You put yourself in there, like you paint yourself in that picture, you will feel it. So what you want to do is, when you're analyzing potential situations and outcomes, you want to have what we call a detached frame, right? You want to look down and say, how does that look? And you want to look at it as an observer, not that you're in it. So think of it like being the director versus being the actor, right? If you're the actor, you're going to experience it. The director observes it. So when you're playing out scenarios, especially if they're negative scenarios, which, look, we're all human. We're all playing that game at some level in our minds. Nobody's here delusional. But you've got to be careful how you do it, because if you're painting yourself in there, it's going to really cause you to slide, right? So I am always looking at outcomes. I am always looking at plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D, right? But I do it from a frame of the observer, not I'm in it. So just make sure that when you're looking at, possibilities, especially if they're not pleasant possibilities, put yourself outside that frame. Very, very important. Okay. The next thing, the best thing you can do for yourself is, there's several things, but let's start with what I think is number one, which is move your body, exercise. If you're sitting around, just kind of sitting around, and I know, look, all my gym's closed and I get all that. You can go on YouTube and Google and search, exercises, right? Exercise with no weights, body weight exercises, right? There's a lot of things you could do if you're actually stuck inside your home to do that, and that should be a goal, right? What I would recommend is you sit there and say, whatever you think physical fitness is, double it, right? Man, if I can work out a half hour a day, great, make it an hour, right? I've gone from, an hour to an hour and a half a day to 3 to 4 hours a day of exercise. Why? Because I got time, right? So I can sit around and watch the news, right, and stress eat and stress drink, or I can go ahead and take care of my body, especially your cardio capacity, your lungs, right, which seems to be the thing that really kind of makes things go sideways for people who contract this. So anything you do to get your lung function better, healthier, I would definitely go recommend to you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying not giving you medical advice, just common sense 101. Build your lung capacity. All right. Number two, watch what you eat, both from a physical standpoint and also from a mental and emotional standpoint. So again, I was at the food store the other day, and all the snack food is gone. They sold out of ice cream, Snicker bars, potato chips, right? There's salad stuff. Get that. There's, burger, there's the healthy stuff still out there, right? Fruits and vegetables, man, but you can't find a pint of ice cream or a Snickers bar anywhere, right? It seems like it's almost as valuable as toilet paper these days. So that tells me that as a society, right, that, emotionally, we're emotionally eating, we're stress eating, stuff like that. You have to be very careful about that, because number one, it will depress your immune system. Number two, you're not going to feel good. Number three, you're not going to be resourceful to be with your clients, right? So just want to make sure you're handling all that. Do a good job in what you put in your body. This requires discipline. I understand that, but it's gonna serve you in the long term. The next thing we talk about diets is mentally, right? Look, I expect you to have to know what goes on. I don't need you digesting it 12, 14, 16 hours a day. There are people out there that literally have, and I don't care your particular brand of news or your political slants is irrelevant to me. All I know is this: if your diet consists of the news and market news and the news and the market news, I mean, it's just bad. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. Look, I don't care true, not true, fake news, not fake news. It's relevant. And I don't want to hear what I've got on for background noise. Your subconscious absorbs everything. Your subconscious absorbs everything you hear, everything you see. It's stored in the mind, right? may not realize it. That's why sometimes people just, I just don't feel, I'm like depressed and I feel good. And you kind of go into them and dissect them a little bit, and you find out that all they do is digest the news. And like, dude, you don't understand what this is doing to you. So I understand you need to be aware, but don't sit there. It's like, hey, have a teaspoon or a spoon of ice cream. Don't eat the whole quart, right? So be judicious with that. I think that's really important. The other thing is, what I call positive distractions. So what's a positive distraction? Well, there's no sports, right? Unless you want to watch replays from the 1977 World Series and stuff that happened 10 years ago. So I think it's a great time to do two things. I'm all for, so pick a novel, pick a movie, pick a series on Netflix, like binge. Like, I do believe that you need to have escapes, right? I use that, right? My wife and I, my family, we will binge watch a Netflix show, an Amazon show, whatever. And it doesn't matter which one, just find something you like, right? My kids seem to like that Tiger Dude, whatever the hell that's all about, right? And that's fine. But go find a way to distract yourself. That's how we get a mental holiday, right? Put your phone down, especially when you're down. So here's the thing. All phones have do not disturb. Use it. Use it when you need to kind of zone out. Put it on D&D. You'll still get your emails in. You'll still get everything in. You just won't hear the beep, 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 and all that stuff. Go on, take a little sabbatical. Even for 6 to 8 hours makes a radical difference. So distract yourself from a positive standpoint, right, with something totally, outside, just a total distraction. Give your mind a break on that. The other side of that is go ahead and pick up some personal development courses. I've got books. I've got a whole online library, right, of e-courses I've purchased over the years. I've not gotten through them all. So I've got that big warrior box there, which I'm going to get through in the next couple of weeks. And, I'm going to go and work on my mind and my body for the next 90 days, right? So for Q2, this will be my game plan going forward. And continue to set goals, continue to live your life. Life is not, the world around us does not stop. You can't stop either. I know you may want to. So you want to really just take care of yourself. The other thing is, again, if you're inside of Magellan Network, we have our Magellan Morning 8 protocol. I'm not going to get into all that here on this episode, but there's one element of that which I do want to spend time talking about in this episode. Gratitude. Inside of our game in the morning, I ask each one of my clients / members to do one act of gratitude. It could be as simple as texting somebody, I appreciate you. It could be writing an email. It could be in a conversation. It could be whatever it is. And I think now more than ever, it's easy to kind of forget that because our frame is all negative, or for a lot of people, it's mostly negative. So what I recommend each day, and I think early in their day, the better. And maybe there's two places we do this. First thing in the morning, go ahead and give gratitude. And it could be to a person, a place, a thing, or maybe just write down what you're grateful for and never tell anybody. That's fine too. Or just think it. But find something you're grateful for. And then before you close your eyes, your last thought, find something you'll be grateful for today, right? In all the shitstorm that's going on around us, there's always things to be grateful for. Do not push them off on the side and say, I can't focus on that right now because I got all this crisis going on. You need to be even more deliberate and more purposeful in doing that. So go ahead and give gratitude, give thanks. Very important. The other thing, which has really worked well for me, and this is a recent development, like a year, maybe 2 years, for a long time, I had really tried to meditate. And my little monkey brain, because it's all over the place, I could never get it calm. So after like 30 seconds, I would be like, all over the place, and I couldn't do it. So a couple of years ago, a client / now a new friend of mine, turned me on to really, really understanding meditation. I went ahead and got Headspace. Now there's other apps that I'm not saying one's better than the other. And if you're watching this, you'll see like right behind me there is that white Italian leather couch. And what I will do is I will sit there in the morning. I will put Headspace on, and I will go 5 minutes. And then I've learned now to kind of stretch that out a little bit. But meditation, and so here's the way I explain it to people. And by the way, this has got nothing to do with religious beliefs. This is just neuroscience we're talking about here. When you can calm your mind and clear it, it's like you relax it, right? And I call it like, if you're an athlete, the body, if you want to perform at a high level, you need flexibility, right? How do you get flexibility? You stretch, right? Well, the mind, the way I view it is meditation is like stretching your mind. It's good for it. It shuts it down. It gives it a little time out. You get to be present with yourself. And it's very energizing, very mentally and emotionally energizing. So if you've struggled with that in the past, I'd highly recommend you go. I like Guided, so that's why I use an app. You can do anything you'd like, but I would meditations is not for like new age crazy people, right? It is for all of us. And like I said, it's really helped me the last couple of years. I'm doing more of that now than I did 90 days ago, and I will continue that, right? The one thing we all have right now as humans is time. Unless you're like a first responder in a medical profession, but in our industry, in our space here, the financial advisor space, look, you got time. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to travel. Everything's kind of shut down, so you get to be with people and appreciate that, right? Appreciate being home. They have a home, right? I mean, there's a lot of things we can be grateful for, and we need to do that. All right. So I just want to share some of these things, like especially the framing piece and how you look at it. It's incredibly important. And then the last thing I want to leave everybody with in this episode is expectations. Right. Look, I am not a real positive guy. I'm not a negative. I know that people think I'm a coach. I must be the super positive guy. I'm a realist. I look at things for what they are, not better than they are, not worse than they are. I always believe the truth lies between this and this, and usually it's right around here, right? So the key thing here is to manage your own expectation. So point being is this. I'm not saying pick time. I'm not saying, hey, pick a timeline and you need to pick this window or something like that. But here's what I'm going to say to you. This feels to me way more like a marathon than a 100-meter race. This feels more like a marathon. And so if you're going into this battle, this war, with a sprinter's mentality, you'll burn out way before the end. So you need to, in my opinion, accept the marathoner's approach and grind on this for weeks, if not months, right? Again, I don't wish that. I don't hope that. But I'm prepared for that. And that's what matters, right? That's the way you've got to take a look at this, because I've said this from some of you have been following me for years, if not decades. I've always said you're your economic engine. You create your own economy. And I've said that, and I still believe that. We're going through some very challenging times. It does not mean that there's not a way to get victories here, right? And to do good works, and to care for people, and to look at our clients not just as account numbers, but as human beings, as people, right? There's a real chance that every one of us, either directly through friends, family, coworkers, or through our client base, is going to know someone who's lost somebody. It's most likely inevitable. I'm not being negative. I'm seeing things for how they are. What I'm saying to you is that if you spiral out, you can't lead yourself. You can't lead your family. You can't lead your team. You can't lead your clients. You just basically become, I say the word respect, worthless. Don't let that be your case. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mind. Take care of your body. Take the advice, and this is the same advice I give my clients. This is the same advice I take myself. All right? I'm prepared for a marathon. I hope it's not true, but if that's the way this thing's going to play, I'm ready, and I don't lose. So I am confident that no matter how long I got to run, how long I got to grind, I will be victorious. That is my mindset. So I thank you all for watching and listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. And look, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this with as much sincerity as I possibly can. If you're going at this thing alone right now, and I don't care if you're at a big firm. I've talked to my clients at big firms, and they're getting zero guidance. They're getting compliance guidance and what you can do and how to work from home and all that jazz. But how to weather this, how to be successful, how to find a way to thrive in this, you're not getting anything from that. So I just want to make sure that if you're going at this alone, don't. Connect with me. I don't care how you do it. All right, LinkedIn, Facebook. We got a Facebook business page. MagellanNetwork.net. If you want to come inside, it's free. You come play for several weeks, not a problem. I'm here for each and every one of you to be a resource. Okay, so thanks for watching. Thanks for listening on this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Until next time, be safe out there and take care of you. So there you have it. If you really enjoyed watching this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the Magellan Network Show with Coach Joe here on YouTube. And remember, I'm always here to help you become a better entrepreneur, business owner, and financial advisor. With that, I'll see you next time on the Magellan Network Show with me, Coach Joe. Take care and goodbye.